Time for some brunch. Awesome thing about this place is they have bottomless mimosas for 800 yen. And what bottomless mimosas are is an unlimited amount of sparkling wine and orange juice, and it goes really well with brunch food. We don't usually do Q&A on Sundays, and we had a very eventful day planned. We didn't think the alcohol content was... We decided to part ways after our mimosa deal ended and take a nap, and now we're awake 7 hours later.
So now this leaves us nothing to do but to go for our backup emergency plan, which is Q&A.
We were ready to show you really awesome things, but...
Well, the elephant parade is gonna have to wait.
Yeah, and the tiger dancing. Kasha, how often do you get hit on by Japanese guys? Same for Kshehu. How much attractive are you as a foreigner in Japan? And so, like, you can get hit on and you are really attractive here, but people are very shy, so they won't always hit on you and they'll be afraid of you, but they'll stare at you. But if they're drunk and in a group of people, then they'll hit on you.
The dating thing in Japan, for me, it's one of the most confusing and alien aspects of life here, really. It's so much different than what we're used to in the West.
Do you prefer eating in normal restaurants or stylized ones, like Neko restaurant or prison, etc.?
You go to stylized places from time to time to have some fun, to have some themed things, but for the real food experience, you go to food restaurants.
Yeah, because in the stylized ones, the design comes first, not the flavor. So, do you feel a big difference in the standard of life between Japan and, for example, Poland?
For example, in the public space, everything's kind of taken care of. You know, the stations are renovated, everything's clean, everything's safe. There's a lot of care put into all the aspects of the life in public space. Well, obviously the apartments are much smaller, so that's a downside.
Well, I think the standard of living between the US and Japan is very similar. Like, of course, there are things that are a lot better here, like trains and transportation, but there are things in the US that are a lot better. And these things just kind of cancel each other out, and you adapt to this, and this goes away, and it's just very a comfortable exchange.
So there you go, you brought up trains, and Polish trains are notorious for being never on time, always smelly, and you know.
Nicole Cole, do you want to stay in Japan for the rest of your life?
No.
No.
I would like to spend a few years here. There's so much of the world to see.
Yeah, I guess I would want to be close to maybe family and friends, but I don't want to stay in one place. I'd rather be traveling around. How does adult control of IDs look, for example, in stores when you buy alcohol or smokes or places? Over 18 or 21?
It's 20 in Japan.
Over here, you are legally an adult at the age of 20.
Well, in clubs, they're pretty strict about it. For example, in konbinis, all you have to basically do is just press the button that says, I am over 20 years old. I guess there is underage drinking in Japan. I think somebody told me that, but you know, I have no experience of it here, so it's just an assumption.
I think also as a foreigner, you just look older. I got carded 3 times. The first time I was ever carded was for Halloween 2 years ago, and I was dressed as a baby. I thought it was a joke. He's like, can I see your ID? And I was like, that's funny. He's like, I'm serious. How are Japanese people calling you? Are they using honorifics suffixes such as san, kun, and your surnames when they speak to you?
They use first names.
Yeah.
Because I think between English and Japanese, there's something lost in translation when it comes to which name comes first. Because in Japanese, you normally address people last name first, first name second. They don't know if I'm Krzysztof Gonciarz, which one is the first name, which one's the last. Some
time ago, foreigners just kind of established this, call me by my first name, just because it was uncomfortable to be called Michinsky-san like this.
Yeah. As for the suffixes in professional environment, they usually go for Kasia-san, Chris-san.
With very close friends, they'll sometimes say Kasia-chan.
But it's not common.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's just like to be sweet or something.
When somebody's calling me, they don't say Chris-kun, Krisu-kun. But when I hear them talking in Japanese about me, sometimes they would be this form.
Dondek, how about smoking cigarettes on the street? Can you or can you not?
In general, you shouldn't smoke on the street, except for the designated smoking areas. Sometimes it's it's a walled off area on the street. Sometimes it's just an ashtray put by somebody outside, for example, a shop or something. It's an offense in Japan when your smoke hits somebody's face.
Yeah.
It's very rude to do that. So if you can find a spot where you're comfortable that this won't happen, nobody's gonna really complain about it.
Are there any gym or street workout parks in Japan?
Yeah, there's a lot of gyms. There's public gyms, which is cool. They're very cheap. They're like 400 yen per use.
And they have the basic equipment, and they're in public spaces like a community center or something like that. And then there are private ones which are a lot more expensive for
Bananas Movie Studio asks, what do you think about phenomenon of hikikomori in Japan? We can answer this in a very general way. Japan has a way of sweeping all the problems under the rug. So when there's something bad going on with somebody, there is a very good chance you'll never hear about it because people just don't talk about sensitive subjects here. It's very difficult to get into these topics with people, and I guess it's respectful not to try.
It's very common to live in share houses when you first arrive here, or when you're a Japanese student here, and share houses are basically where you get a room and you share like the kitchen and stuff. So people who are my friends who have lived in these type of places have had like hikikimori neighbors and stuff. Have you ever thought about visiting Sukiyabashi Jira? Of course we have.
The demand for this restaurant is so high, they get to just reject some people. Here, this is funny. I tried to get in last year with Marcin to make a video, and they didn't let us to make a reservation. And in the week that we wanted to come, Obama was dining there. So I imagine that, okay, I'm not in this league, right?
Pogi, konbanwa. You're like yin and yang, white and black, intro and extra. Don't you think that? Which one do you think? Your intro or extra?
Take a guess.
You think you're extra?
Yeah, I'm the bomb in social situations. I go out, I'm a beast.
I didn't think it was noticeable anymore. But when we first met, it was so obvious. Like, we were just so opposite. Like, I think I made you uncomfortable all the time. Erasmus123, you should say kurva instead of fucking. It sounds cute in the middle of the sentence spoken in different language. Shushu, do you play games in Japanese?
I like how one leads to another. I don't play much video games at all, but I brought my PlayStation here the last time I came over, mainly to play The Witcher 3. But as for video games in Japanese, not really. I've tried it before in my previous career, my previous life when I was a video game journalist, so I had to do it sometimes, but it's really difficult. You have to be, with most game genres, you have to be pretty good in Japanese. Of course, when you go to an arcade, then you have to play video games in Japanese here, but these are mostly, like, when I go out, I play fighting games, for example, so you don't have to speak or read Japanese to do that. Do you as an inhabitant feel that Tokyo will be a host of Olympics Games at 2020? Is anything happening around? You can see, like, for example, in the East Shibuya, between Shibuya and Azabu-Juban, there's this huge construction field with Olympics signs all over. Yeah. Oh, really? Where is that? You see more like, for example, restaurants trying to be more foreigner friendly, or things that to accommodate foreigners are happening a lot. I think we factored the Olympics in when we made the decision of starting a company here. The Olympics is always a self-fulfilling prophecy for the economy. Like, everybody's expecting the economy to be good by 2020, so it's going to be good because it's all it takes, people wanting and seeing it happening in the future. And also there's going to be a lot of demand for services that connect Japan to the Western world, and that's us. I feel confused in Japan because of all the Japanese slogans around you. When you look, for example, at central Shibuya area, no ad really stands out. They just make this huge collage of things, which to me is very appealing visually. Yeah, okay, so what Chris said, I guess all the ads just kind of fall into the landscape, and you don't really think of them as one ad at a time, and you don't really care to get confused by it because it's just the landscape. But I'm different than you. Like, when I first came here, I felt that it was just too much, and I felt that it was a bit ugly, and I wished it was simpler. Now I've come to really like it and appreciate it, as this is what Tokyo looks like. Cyberpunk in real life. It's awesome. Does any of your new friends ever think that you're brother and sister? It happened a lot more when I wore my old glasses. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Katarzyna, have you ever seen some of Chris's previous work with TEFL Career? There are a few things Chris showed me from
Like
TEFL
this?
Career days. And it's hilarious. I mean, I know, from what you told me, I know you did a lot of cool things with TEFL Career, but I've only seen the ones that he finds embarrassing, because he chose to show me those.
I showed you Kupa na głowie, which is awesome.
Oh, I liked
The
that.
mockumentary we did.
I liked that. What was the idea behind that green coat?
I thought it was fashionable.
How long did you wear it for?
I don't know, a few months.
No one ever commented on it? Did people say, oh, that's a nice coat? Or did anyone say, oh, that's a nice coat? Like, maybe, did you ever...
I don't know. Anyway, I like to present myself as a case study of when you want to be comfortable with the camera. It doesn't happen overnight for many people. Of course, there's talented people who can pull off camera work instantly, like Gamma, basically.
Yeah.
But you can train yourself to be comfortable and to present yourself. Okay, thank you very much for watching. We've had a very exciting week, so if you haven't seen all the episodes, you can do it right now.
Please like, subscribe, and leave questions for the next Q&A.
Matane.
Next week on Sunday, we promise not to do Bottomless.
Maybe.
It's my birthday.
Jana.
Bye-bye.